Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Tuesday, November 26, 2013. I'm your host, Leanne McAdoo. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight.
Tonight, the policy to legally steal your guns. Then, is it time to embrace weaponized drones? And
I think that Alex Jones is a lunatic.
That's next on the InfoWars Nightly News.
I wanna be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. Oh man! And have enough gumption with.
An anti-freedom policy has been spreading across the United States police departments. It is the legalized theft of citizens' guns. Now, I'm not talking about forfeiture laws. This policy is to impound guns and, in extreme cases, all the guns that officers come across, whether they are involved in any crime or not. Then they refuse to return the guns until a judge issues an order to return them, as the attorney fees needed to obtain a court order can easily be 10 times what the gun is worth. Most people do not even bother. So joining me in the studio is Jakari Jackson. Jakari, they are seizing guns. There's no crime involved. They don't have any rhyme or reason for doing it. It's theft. This is ludicrous.
Well, they have a reason to do this, Leanne. It's because they want your guns, even though they say, we don't want your guns, just like Anthony Gucciardi and Alex experienced down at the Alamo. We don't want your guns. It says on this paper you want to take all of our assault rifles away. Well, we don't really consider an assault rifle to be a gun. We don't consider anything that you want for self-defense to be a gun, but we'll touch on that in just one moment. Yes, the article that you're referencing from ammoland.com, headline, legalized theft of guns. And this isn't just something that's going on in California. We know it's been going on there for a while. It's also Ohio, Arizona, Wisconsin, where the police show up, whoever the repo agents may be, and they have to come and seize your guns. And earlier this year, Bloomberg put out an article headline, California's gun repo men have a nerve-wracking job. And Leanne, what this article is about, the guys who have to go and take these guns, and if you read it, it's written in such a way, oh, these poor guys, these brave souls who have to go and confiscate these guns. Confiscate these guns. I thought nobody was trying to take the guns, just like they did during Hurricane Katrina, but that's neither here nor there. But they say, you know, some of these guys have mental issues. Some of these guys have domestic abuse issues. Some of these guys are convicted felons, even though I don't think that all convicted felons should necessarily have their guns taken. You got guys, your minor league drug offenders, guys who write bogus checks. They're convicted felons and they can't protect themselves. But they say that because some of these guys have these various issues, now they have the right to go and confiscate guns from pretty much anybody. They see you cleaning your gun in your garage, now they have to send a SWAT team. Or, you know, somebody takes a gun out, you know, in their apartment parking lot, walking to their car, now they shut down the schools. They did that here in the city of Austin. You know, some guy was just walking to his car, you know, duck season or whatnot, and now they got to shut down the schools. It's going on. They want your guns. It's a bunch of bull, and they keep acting like, no, we're not. We don't want to take your guns away. We just want to take 150 plus guns away off the streets. Dianne Feinstein. They just want to say that you can't have X number of bullets in your magazine. Dianne Feinstein. All these other things. Joe Biden, go out and shoot your shotgun off your balcony, even though if you do that, you're going to be hit with some charges because that is very much illegal. They even tell police not to shoot out warning shots, but they're going to tell you to do it just so you can get caught up in the system.
Right. Well, and they saw that everyone was so upset. Oh, you know, you're not going to violate our Second Amendment. Well, now they're just going to bypass that and violate your Fourth Amendment to be protected from unlawful search and seizures.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people need to realize. Like, we had good guys, constitutional sheriffs like Nick Finch down in Florida. He said, I don't like all these BS gun-grabbing laws here in my county. He threw out the charges on the guy. Then they took him to court, Sheriff Nick Finch. He beat the rap, he beat the ride, and I'm very happy that he did that. And not just that, because they say that in this current AmmoLand article that we're referencing, that they'll take your guns away, and as you said, you know, they're pretty much extorting people. If you want your guns back, you're going to have to pay us X number of dollars. And a lot of people can't afford to get these things. You know, you go buy a $400 pistol or whatnot, and then they want to charge you X number of dollars to get it back. That's ridiculous, and especially some of these guys, they have guns that really don't have numerical value. They're sentimental guns. They're custom-made guns. They're guns they used to go hunting with their grandpa and their granddad, and their mom went out fishing with them. These are things that belong in their family, and now they have to go ask permission of the state to have their own property back. It's a bunch of bull.
Right, and it's not even a law, or they just say, it's our policy. Oh, it's our policy.
It's our policy that you can't breathe today.
Yeah,
it's our policy. It's our policy that will show up and tase your kid in the classroom. He falls, he busts his head, and now he's still potentially facing charges.
Exactly.
That's their policy. That's
yeah, it's just our policy.
It's, and it's more than that. But I'm glad to see guys like Sheriff David Clark out there in Milwaukee, and he's saying that, you know, if you are involved in a crime or you're suspected of a crime, and some of these things like domestic violence cases, they may take your firearms away for a brief period, but he's saying, hey, once you're cleared of the charges, I want you to have your firearm back within 48 hours. So I definitely salute Mr. Clark out there in Milwaukee for at least stepping up and saying, hey, you know, I understand there can be miscommunications, maybe some he said, she said, but once you're cleared of your charges, I want you to have your firearms back. And Leanne, I want these people to have their firearms back as well. Your firearms should be with you, not with these bureaucrats, not with these gun grabbers, not like these people out in Chicago where they take your guns at the gun buybacks and turn around and sell them again. Excuse me, that was in Arizona they did that. They did a similar thing in Chicago as well. But, you know, people think, you know, I'll go turn in my gun at the gun buyback, Leanne. Then they turn around, sell it, make profit off of it.
Right.
And like they said, the gun that shot Gabby Giffords could very well be back out on the street right now. And it's just, you know, these people can't protect you. They want you to think that they can protect you. And, you know, we've seen the situations over and over again, with all due respect, you know, like people like Miss Gabby Giffords, you know, who was shot, the situations at Sandy Hook, the situations at Columbine, the situations at Aurora. They want you to think they can protect you. They got there just in time to draw outlines and, you know, bring out the body bags, but they didn't save anybody. The police are cleanup crews. You know, it's well-intentioned as they may be, and I do believe that many of them do have good intentions. You know, they're a cleanup crew. They can't stop every crime. And we're seeing it move on. It's not just the guns, Leanne. If people don't have guns, they'll move to different measures.
Exactly, like we're seeing with the tasers, or in some cases hammers, or then of course with this new knockout game, they just go old school and using their fists to beat victims.
And that's what it is. You know, they can take away this gun, they can take away that gun, they can take away the hammers, they can, I mean, I guess they may get to the point where they're chopping off people's hands, but people will still find a way to assault you if that's what their desire is. The best thing you can do is to arm yourself.
Exactly. Well, that's why we have that Second Amendment in place. Thank you, Jakari.
Why is nascent iodine so important?
Nascent iodine is so important because it goes directly to the thyroid. It's not bonded to a salt, which means it doesn't have to be broken down, and it's the most usable form. It's what the body uses. It's what the body is designed to use. If you have low energy levels, if you have pains, if you have thyroid problems, if you don't feel up to par, well, they've proven now that the fluoride and a lack of iodine causes a decreased IQ, because you have all this stuff that builds up inside your system and builds up and builds up. And that's why some people, when they start taking iodine, will have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification reaction. But that's a good sign. That means you're detoxifying all that fluoride buildup, the mercury buildup in there, the bromine buildup in your system, and the chlorine buildup in your system. You don't want those things. All of those things have been proven as carcinogens. That's one of the reasons prostate cancer is on the rise too, is because prostate takes up iodine, and the men that are lacking iodine causes the prostate to become cystic and causes the prostate to swell and eventually leads to prostate cancer. There's been an extreme rise in polycystic ovarian disease, PCOS, with women, fibrocystic breast disease, because iodine is stored in the breast tissue, the ovaries, the prostate glands in men. It's utilized by every single cell in the body.
Why does this almost taste good compared to other iodine that tastes horrible? That's because it's real iodine, atomic form.
We wanted something that's going to go straight into the bloodstream and straight into the thyroid gland. We wanted to put it in a vegetable glycerin base. That's a USP kosher certified vegetable glycerin base. And that product is not tested on animals. It's vegan friendly. It's gluten free. It's GMO free.
Of all the things I've done, nascent iodine was just absolutely amazing. So we developed with Dr. Group a double strength, low price, InfoWarsLife.com Survival Shield, the atomic nascent iodine, available right now.